Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today for you guys I have a story time. So if you guys want to hear what this story time is going to be about, then I suggest you guys keep on watching. By the way, my son will be in and out of this video. He will be the main character in this story time, not me actually talking about him, but he would just be popping in and out whenever he wants. Let me go ahead and start off by telling you guys that I won't be going into much detail about certain things just because yeah, just because I was 6 years old, or no, I was 6 years old when this happened. Months later I then turned 7. So I don't really have a lot of these, like, I don't have a lot of these details very clarified because it is kind of a hard topic to talk about with my family. So when we do talk about it, I try and ask the most questions as possible. But because it is very topic, I don't really like to bring it up as much or like to poke at it as much. So these details are not very cleared. If this is just my point of view of the story of what happened, kind of putting a little bit of everybody's point of view again when we talk about it. I kind of get a little bit of other details and more information about it, I guess you could say. So yeah, but just wanted to throw that quick disclaimer out there so that you guys kind of know where I'm coming from and what angle you're getting from this story. Again, this is something that happened to me and my family, so be very kind and no judgment, please. Okay, so let me start off by telling you guys that I come from a family of 5 in total, including myself. And then I have 3 older sisters. And then there's me, I'm the baby, so that makes 5 of us. And I'm 16 years apart from my oldest brother and 15 years apart from my oldest sister, and it goes so on. So you guys kind of have an idea of the age gap and all that. We were all born in California, in Los Angeles. So, but we moved when I was very young. I was 2 years old, to Virginia. So you guys kind of have a little bit of information, kind of to help you guys understand the story. So, like I was telling you guys, so I have an older sister that is Sonia. She is the closest of age. We're 8 years apart. And then there is my sister Carmen, the one that passed away. And then, okay, so I have a brother named Rigo, and I have a sister named Letty, and I have a sister named Carmen, and I have a sister named Sonia, and then I have myself. My name is Kathy. And yeah, so just so you guys kind of understand who I'm talking about and how it goes. Does that make sense? Okay, so we were going to California on like a little trip or whatever. And the ones that were going on this trip was my mom, my sister Carmen, and my sister Sonia, and myself. So it was 4 of us. And my sister was driving. My sister Carmen was driving because this was a 5-speed stick type of car. So my mom didn't know how to drive it. So yeah, my sister was driving, and she was 18 at the time. And there was Sonia, I believe she was 10 years old, Sonia. And then my mom, I'm not going to tell you guys her age because you guys really don't need to know. And then there was me that was 6. Yeah. So my mom was in the front with my sister, Carmen. And then it was Sonia and me. Sonia was behind Carmen, and I was behind my mom. Like almost a whole ride or whatever. And, we were having a normal, like, trip, like we were just driving. And then we we stopped at a hotel, and we woke up early because we wanted to get on the road early, like around 4, I believe, in the morning, Could have been a little bit earlier or could have been a little bit later. Again, I'm not very sure with the details. But then we got on the road, and my sister again was the one driving. And I remember we stopped at a gas station, and I hugged my sister very, very tight. Carmen, my sister, I hugged her very tight, and I was like, I love you so much. Like, I love you. You're like one of my best sisters. And I just hugged her really, really, really tight. I felt like hugging her. And then she was always like my second mom, because my mom, when she moved from California to Virginia, she started working in California. She was a stay-at-home mom. So here she decided to start working, and I was too. So my sister picked up a lot of, not the slack, but just kind of like that responsibility of like being my mom, I guess you could say, just because my mom had to work, and she was in high school, and she had a little bit more of a flexible schedule of like taking me to daycare or preschool or whatever I was attending at the moment. So she was just like my second mom, and I loved her so much. I can tell you a lot of stories about her, but then I'll just get off topic. So yeah. So where was I? Okay, so I just kind of felt like hugging her, and like I always told her I loved her, but that day I was like, I need to tell her I love her. Like something told me, tell her you love her. So I did, and then as a kid, you're in the back, you're either eating and you're like snacking on stuff and you're falling asleep, so you're in and out of sleep, and that's pretty much what I did. So I think I was okay, so that's kind of what you do, right? Like when you're a kid. Yeah, look at the baby builds, so beautiful. Say thank you. Oh yeah, that's pretty much what you do, right? That I took it apart. Oh, by the way, my lip gloss or matte, whatever, my lipstick's not on properly because I was just trying to do it really quickly while I was filming the BoxyCharm. Anyways, so I do remember that we stopped at that gas station, and then we got back on the road, and we were in Kingman, Arizona. So we were going from Virginia to California. Sorry if I didn't mention that earlier. So we were like almost there. We were like, I believe 12 hours away, or yeah, Kingman, Arizona. Yeah. So we were like 12 hours away, I believe. I don't really know, so don't quote me on that. So I guess I fell asleep. As to what I remember, I think I was asleep, and then we had a very bad car accident. A very tragic, fatal car accident is the best way that I can describe it. And I flew out. I was wearing my seatbelt. We were all wearing our seatbelts. Her car was the type of car that when you would close the door, like the seatbelt would come, so it would kind of like go like that. I don't really know what they're called. But that, like, so we, like, you couldn't close the door if you wouldn't put your seatbelt on, if that makes any sense, or gives you an idea of the kind of car that I'm talking about. And this was her baby because she had bought this car with her own money, and she was, like, very responsible and very happy for this car. And, so just to kind of give you a little bit of details about her car. I know this, like, whole story is kind of, like, everywhere, but yeah. So I flew out, we all flew out of the car, I believe, and we flipped about 4 to 5 times. I don't have an exact number, but I do know that we flipped quite a while, or quite a few times. I'm sorry. And then flipped a couple times, and then I don't remember much of what happened, but as I do know is when I woke up, I was in coma for 2 weeks. I could not wake up, and then I was like in and out of coma, and I didn't really know what was going on around me. I don't really remember. I have a lot of scars on my face when I'm not wearing makeup, and you look really closely, you can see my scars. They're kind of fading away, and I have some in my hands. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're right here. Fade, but I do have some scars. And I have some in my back of my shoulders on both of them. So yeah, I do have a couple scars. I remember I had one like right here, like by my cheek area, and I saw myself in the mirror. So kind of let me tell you guys how I found out about certain people and about certain stuff. So I'm going to tell you guys when I woke up and what had happened to my mom, what had happened to my sisters. So I'm going to kind of tell you how I found out in the order that I found out that I can remember, because I don't remember nothing from that day or from that trip or from any of that. Like, I really have to think about these details in order for me to put this story together, if that makes any sense. So I woke up and I saw, the first thing I see is my hair is a mess and I have a huge scar like right here in my face, or like dead dried blood. And I just look at myself and I'm like, what happened? And keep in mind, my dad was not with us. So when I see my dad, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, you weren't with us. That was the first thing that I said to my father. And he just hugged me. And I was just like, okay. I'm kind of a daddy's girl, but I'm really a mommy's girl. So yeah. So I like see all this like IVs on me. I have this like green gown on, and I'm just kind of like, what's going on? I really didn't know what was going on, to be completely honest with you guys. So like I said, I don't remember. This is just kind of what everybody has told me, and if I really think about it, this is what I remember. So I do remember walking in the hospital, because I do remember the nurse saying that I needed to walk in order for us to get discharged. So I remember like walking down this hallway, like holding onto like the IV pole and like onto the rail of like this like steep thing in the hospital, and the walls were like kind of the colors of my walls, which is it's like a little beige brownish color, with like tile looking walls, if that makes any sense. So yeah. They told my parents, well, they told my dad and my brother and the family that had come to the hospital, which was like mostly all my family, even the ones from Virginia. And I'll get into details of who was there. But yeah. So they told my dad and my brother that they needed to tell me what was going on. So my brother, with very beautiful, expressive words, told me the hard truth of what was going on. And it was hard, but I didn't understand. I was 6 years old. Back then, I feel like kids were kids and they really didn't understand, or they didn't comprehend what was really being thrown at them. So I feel kind of like dumb saying that, but it's the truth. Or at least me. But I've always been very smart, but just, I guess I've always been like, do I believe this? I have to see with my own eyes type of person. So yeah. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to tell you what my brother told me until I tell you the point of views of everybody else. So my mom's point of view was that she woke up in the hospital with a lot of freaking pain. My mom had broke 3 ribs, I believe. Her organs had flipped inside her stomach, so they weren't really in places that they should have been. They turned kind of like upside down, I guess you could say. I don't really know the medical terms for all of this, so I'm sorry. And she had like an injured leg, I believe. I hope I got all of this stuff correctly. Don't quote me on any of this, because I was 6 years old. So it happened to my mom in this horrible accident. Then my sister Sonia dislocated a shoulder. Her arm, or the shoulder that she dislocated, which is the left, I believe, is like her whole hand, or like right here, her forearm, is completely filled with like bruises and like street marks. Her, like, she had a lot of burns on this part of her hand. So she kind of has this like very injured arm, if that makes any sense. So I don't really know how to explain it. Again, I don't know the medical terms for this. And she had also broken a couple ribs. I don't know how many. So yeah. So she was in a lot of pain. But she says that while this was all going on, she doesn't remember exactly how the accident happened, but she does remember that when the EMTs, the paramedics, and the ambulance and everybody got there, she could hear me screaming. She was telling them what's going on, and they were asking her, like, who was in the vehicle with you? And then she was like, my mom and my sister Carmen, that was 18, and my baby sister, that's 6, and then there was me. And then, like, they were just telling her all of these things. And one of the paramedics or EMTs, I don't really know their names, or who actually told her, this big thing told her, sister, unfortunately, I do not know it, because my sister Carmen passed away on April 20th, 2003, and it has always been the worst day of my life. As the years go by, we're in 2018, and I try to always, and I hate to say this because it might sound kind of like weird, but I try to embrace it and try to find the positive side of this. And every year I feel like I get stronger. The pain is absolutely still there. Absolutely still there, but I try to not show as much pain for my mom and for my sisters and for my family and for my dad. So yeah. So my brother told me when the doctor and the nurse had told him that they have to tell me in order for us to get discharged from the hospital. And I was in coma, and I had like boxes around me, and like something that was like giving me oxygen or like life support, I guess you could say. I really don't know. So all of this was even traumatic for them. So when they told me, they tried to say it with the beautifulest words that they could think of. I didn't believe it when they told me that my sister had passed away and that I would no longer see her. So it was very hard for me to like understand what was going on. And I was like, no, I don't believe you. I want to see my sister Carmen. Where is she? And prior to them telling me, I was constantly asking for my sister Carmen, and because I had seen Sonia and I had seen my mom, and I was like, where's Carmen? I want to see Carmen. Where's Carmen? I want to see Carmen. Like, where is she? So that's when they told me, and my brother told me with the most beautifulest words that I don't remember, and but it's because I just blocked all of that from my mind. That's kind of what the therapist has, like, came to believe, that that's what happened. I blocked all of that memory from my brain, and from my memory. So I don't really remember what was exactly said that day, but I do know there were beautiful words, because my sister that was there, Sonia, she told me that they were really beautiful words. So I take that wherever I go, that beautiful words were said to me. And I think it was more harder for my mom and my dad, simply because my mom, I guess, had because a lot worse, because he was going to this place, not knowing what happened or what was going on, because my sister and my brother decided not to tell them. They just didn't have the courage to tell my dad that my sister had passed away. So on his private flight to where we were, he did not know what was going on, and he was very, very scared and just praying that everything was okay, that we were okay. All he knew was that we were in the hospital and we had had a very bad car accident, but my sister and my brother didn't tell him that my sister had passed away. So this whole flight, he did not know, and my sister was sitting right next to him, like trying to cope and grieve, but she just couldn't show any emotion because my dad didn't know. So it was hard for them both, I believe. And yeah. So when my dad got there, my aunts from California had to tell my dad what had happened to my sister, and my dad lost it. He started crying. Say hi, everyone. Mwah. I love you. Ow. So my dad lost it and he just started crying. He said that he ran out of the hospital and he almost got ran over because he was not watching where he was going or what he was doing. It was very hard for him, I guess, are the best words that I can say to describe his pain. And that event will always mark my family for the rest of our lives. So April 20th has always been the saddest day for our family. My sister made a scrapbook for her. My sister Letty made a scrapbook for her in her memory of since she was a baby to when she was older to when she passed away tragically. So we try to always get together that day and, you know, see the scrapbook and talk about her and just kind of like be together and just kind of be together on that day just to, you know, grieve together and be together. So that is the worst car accident that I have ever had in my whole entire life, and I hope to never experience that pain again or go through any type of accident that tragic again. So when you're driving, be very careful no matter where you're going. Drive safely. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. I know at times we all have done it, but try not to, and just really just don't do it because it's not worth it. None of that affected us. We don't know to this day, or at least I don't know exactly what happened, how we had this accident. Did we hit somebody? Did somebody hit us? I don't know because, again, this is a very sticky, it's a very hard conversation to have with everybody. So I really respect it because I know it's something very hard for all of us, and I don't want to make my mom go through any type of pain if she doesn't have to, by telling me just so I know. I know as when I get older, my brothers and sisters would tell me. I know I'm 21, but maybe it's just not the time for me to know exactly what happened. So yeah. I do kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about who my sister was, and I will try to insert some pictures at the end of this video so that you guys can see her and see how beautiful she was. Not only was she physically beautiful, she was a very beautiful person inside. And I know a lot of people say this when they die, you like say the beautifulest things about this person, but honestly, my sister touched a lot of people's life at such a very young age. She impacted a lot of people. The high school that she attended and that me and my sister attended, they did a scholarship in her name, so that's just a little bit of how much she impacted a lot of people. And she was very liked, very known for her beautiful smile, for her beautiful personality, and her my sister graduated from high school in 2002, and she had applied to her dream college, which was Virginia Tech, and she got accepted, but she never got her acceptance letter because she passed away. Unfortunately, she never got to see that letter that she was accepted and she could start her journey as an RN because that's what she wanted to. She had her CNA here at the high school that we go to. you're allowed to get your CNA or LPN during high school. So she was going to get her RN and later in life wanted to become a doctor. She had a lot of aspirations, a lot of ambition, a lot of goals that she didn't get to accomplish. But I think God gave her a lot of goals that she did accomplish, and she did them very well. Like I said, she impacted so many people at such a young age, and not only was it said by our family, this was said by people that knew her personally and interacted with her. She was a very hard driven person, and she had her little attitude, but I feel like we all do, but she always put other people's needs before hers. So I'm very thankful and proud to be her sister. I miss her so much. Every year it gets harder, but I try to be stronger for her, for myself, for my family, and most importantly for my mom. But I'm very thankful that I got to spend 6 years of my life with her. I wish I would have had more time with her, but God does everything for a reason, and I can't question Him. Maybe she was in, she's in a better place now, and I'm just happy that I'm at peace knowing that she's in a better place. If you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you guys like it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Again, I will leave some pictures at the end so that you guys can see who my sister was. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. If not, you guys can follow me on my social media that I will leave down in the description bar below. If not, you guys can email me. If you guys have been through something like this, very dramatic, I would like to hear it. And I would like to know. So just let me know in the comment section below. And love your family while you have them, because you never know. Our days are counted in this world, and nothing is forever. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video.
2 mixtapes in 6 months, we're breaking as hard as me. I don't bother with these me. Drop 2 mixtapes in 6 months, we're breaking as hard as me.